Hi, welcome back to Terminally
Bald.
Woo! Cheers.
I am bald.
You are bald.
Yes.
You've been bald my entire life.
Yes.
I've never known you with hair.
I started shaving my head when you were born. Your mom goes, just shave your head. You know, I had this big gap, and literally I was in the shower, and I'm like, give me the razor.
Is that really?
Yeah, it was for Alex's
happened?
birthday party we had in the apartment we were living in before we moved into this house that was being built. And it was so funny because I shaved my head and she loved it. I stepped out and she was like going, "You look so sexy," and I went, really?
Mom said that?
Yes.
I cannot imagine her.
Oh,
saying
she loved
that.
it. She loved it. I was like, really?
That's crazy.
Because I didn't like it at all. I still don't like it a lot. But a
Wait,
lot of people say
what?
the little people say I have the head shape for it.
This is news to me that you don't like being bald. What?
Well,
you could get hair plugs. You go to Brazil and get them for like a couple $1,000.
yeah, no, I'm going to be bald for the rest of my life.
I can't imagine you with hair. Dad, it's so part of your brand. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like you being cue bald head. It's literally, our podcast is called Terminally Bald.
Yeah,
you can't go back now.
It's funny.
Anyways, what are you drinking?
One of my favorites, ice cold beer.
Yep.
Makes you want to cheer, but it's Corona. Sorry, Corona.
Non-alcoholic.
Cheers. Non-alcoholic.
I'm drinking a Gatorade Glacier Freeze, not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but they've been calling us.
No, we have sponsors out. I was going to say wazoo. I didn't really want to say that because I don't say that, but we have a lot of sponsors.
Yeah,
hitting our line. This is a joke.
It's a funny thing. Whenever I do the ones about music, I love it. I was telling some friends that called me up and said it was really good, but it's an hour show, so a lot of people didn't watch it because it's so long. But I was telling them how I enjoyed you and me conversation about music. You did yours, and I did mine, and I enjoyed it. That's probably my favorite one yet.
Yeah.
And I held up the albums. I loved it. I mean, I told all my DJ stories about the music and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It was fun. But anyway, it was good. Hey, congrats, new job.
Yay! Yeah, we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
Or in the last episode, I think we talked about me having a job. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was saying, like, it's a good thing that you're starting this job because he only has 4 days left of radiation. Woo!
And chemo. Stop them both.
And chemo. Chemo pill, but I drive with radiation every single morning, 5 days a week.
Man, I'm so tired of the chemo.
Yeah.
Makes me tired,
Also,
makes me depressed.
Yeah.
And it just started, though, 2 weeks ago because I didn't feel any of it. Mm-hmm. And the doctor kept saying, it could affect you in the 4th week. I'm like, if you hadn't said that, I wouldn't have gotten
I know, it wouldn't have been in his head. Yeah. Oh, I almost stepped on Bear.
But speaking of that, I've got to say, shout out to Scott Dew, my boy, homie. He inspired me last week. We got to talk because he had cancer, and he fought it, and he had all kind of things he had to deal with, even though his cancer was different from mine because I think he said 95% chance he would beat it. Mm-hmm. But, man, he put up a lot of stuff, and it inspired me. I was like, I'm going to I wasn't running like I wanted to, and I got back running, and anyway, it inspired me. It was awesome. Love you. Thank you, Scotty. And hey, thank you, my boy Rick Maglione. He got me this cross bracelet.
Mm-hmm. It's really cute.
I love it.
It's kind of like a watch. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm not taking it off, so it's very cool. But anyway, that aside, you wanted to ask about this weekend that I have fun at the party.
Yeah.
So the neighbors.
Well, what did you do this weekend?
Well, Jerry Martin and his wife Lori, they live a couple of houses over, and they had started wanting to throw me a party because of what's going on with me.
He's so humble.
And I was like, man.
He's like, no, I don't need a party.
But they called Derek and the Slammers, and Derek was he was a guitarist and in a band back when I was DJing. He's just a good dude. He still does that. And he came and said, I'm doing this show for you guys. It was on the house. He rocked the house.
We had so much fun. So good. He's so talented. It's insane. Yeah. He was playing the violin, it sounded like electronic sounding, the guitar. He was playing all these covers. I was telling you that I requested Dixieland Delight, but he didn't know it. But then I requested Sweet Home Alabama, and he's like, okay, I got you. And then later, couple songs later, I was like wondering if he was going to play Sweet Home Alabama. Mm-hmm. And then Mom went up, and my mom, and he was like, oh, I'm going to play that one last. I think that's a really good decision to play last. I was like, okay, good. And then you said that you requested it, and he was like, what did he say to you when you requested it?
He said he just started playing it.
Okay, yeah. He's like, this is now the probably more than third person that's asked me to play this one song.
So, Bob Watkins came into town. Him and his wife Deb, they came into town, and
your sister was here.
Yeah, my sister Amy and her husband Derek. It was fun. But
your child B was here. Everyone was here because B came for your birthday.
My oldest B was here. Mm-hmm. Yep. It like I said, it's kind of depressing because everybody knew what's going on with me, and they all come up going, "How are you?" And you know, I don't want to feel pitied because I feel good. I'm gonna kick the cancer's butt,
and everyone can see that. Yeah,
it's a blowout. We're kicking cancer's butt.
Yeah,
and my treatment ends. Did you say this already?
On Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
4 days.
Yeah,
we have tomorrow.
Days. Yeah, we're
recording
filming
on Wednesday. So
yeah,
tomorrow.
This goes out Friday, but we do film them on Wednesday or Thursday. And today's show is about my homie when I coached Pop Warner, and the guy interview was the head coach, Gary Meyers. He's coming up. My grandson is also on the show this week.
He'll have a little cameo, a little treat for you guys.
Yeah, I interviewed him and
interviewed him. It's like a minute-long video of Luka just
the interview
being silly
with Mr. Myers is good. He was the head coach, and we were a really good team. We coached some. You'll hear about it in the interview, but we coached some very good athletes. We had a couple go in the NFL. Our quarterback played in the NBA for many years. He's in Europe. I think he was the MVP in Europe. The kid, but you'll learn about this in the interview. But it was fun when we coached. It was so much fun. So anyway, and of course I told you last week. I really enjoyed the music when I held up the albums.
Yeah,
that was
our hour-long episode, our longest episode.
I interviewed our conversation about that. You tell me about your music, and I tell you about all my DJ stories and that kind of stuff. It was fun. I enjoyed that. Even if nobody watches it, I just enjoy it.
I know. I did think it was funny though because like we were hitting 40 minutes. You're like, let's go to an hour. And I was like, okay, an hour. Well, mind you, I'm like, I was like in my head, I had like a dessert or something. I was like thinking about getting my chocolate bar and going upstairs, laying in my bed. I really enjoyed it. All this being said, I did enjoy it. It's just funny because had in my head we were going to record 30 minutes. I was like, okay, now I have to mentally prepare for an hour. Yeah. I didn't mean to say any of this. Like, I hated it. I enjoyed it too. I enjoy every time we record. I'm just saying, I was like, I feel like in case anyone saw the video.
Tell the stories of when you were a DJ. You tell me all kind of stories that are funny and fun.
Yeah, you had good stories.
Anyway, it was fun. But anyway, so this week's fun. You guys have a good weekend. We appreciate you that watch.
Yeah, I did want to... Sorry. Okay, I was just going to say I appreciate everyone who came up to me at the party on Friday and said they really enjoyed me on the podcast. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I'm trying my best.
I get the same compliments from all my friends, too. They're really impressed with you. And I knew you were doing well.
I can chat.
You got some good blood. You got some good blood in your
I have an entertainer's blood, to say the least.
For sure.
Someone who gave a speech and did his little Friday Yo rap on stage. At the party.
Yeah.
But that's what I was going to say. Everyone, and that's something I really learned through this with you and your cancer diagnosis. How I lost my train of thought.
Well,
what I was going to say that it's a hard push and pull, right? Like people really want to see how you are and they care about you, right? Yeah. But then you just don't want to be pitied. So it's like this weird thing where someone who loves you and cares about you wants to know how you are, but then you're like, can we just act like this is normal? Like, we're at this party for me. And
in my opinion, I get way more love than I deserve. I mean, I really do. But it's so sweet and kind, and like I said, everybody is just always just really sweet. But anyway, I get choked up a lot. I do.
I don't think that's true. I think a lot of people feel that way.
You don't think I get choked up?
No. I was gonna say I don't think you get too much love that you don't deserve. I don't think that's true at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, babe.
I was gonna say I feel like everyone feels that way. Whether we don't get enough love or we get too much, we don't think we deserve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or we think we deserve not enough.
Be humble, people.
What? I confused myself.
No.
Anyways.
No, I said me be humble and people be humble.
No, for sure. I confused myself in what I was saying, and the audience probably also got confused.
Yeah. Anyway, so you guys, happy Friday.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend.
Subscribe. We post every Friday at 9 a.m.
Yep.
Should we do our outro? We ready to rumble?
Yeah, let's do it.
To go into Gary and Luka?
Every time.
Ready?
Yes.
Wait, I'm trying to think. Did we say everything we wanted to say?
I think we did.
Okay.
All right.
If we didn't, you won't hear it.
That's right.
Okay, bye. Peace, love, funk, and roll. Yay.
I got it.
Bye.
See ya. Love ya. What's happening? Greetings. We have a special guest in the house, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you've ever met him. He's a very popular guy. This is Mr. Gary Meyers. How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing great, brother.
Welcome.
How you doing? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, brother.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to spend some time with you.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I don't know how popular I am, but whatever.
Well, I got some stories about.
We have stories.
We have a lot of stories.
Some we can say, and some we can't say.
Some we can't say.
Yeah.
But this is Gary Meyers. Gary and I have known each other for over 20 years. Gary was a neighbor. We met many years ago in Hooters. by the way, something we enjoyed together back in the day. And you moved away.
I moved away. I've moved to a few places, but now settling in Athens, Georgia.
Athens, Georgia.
And I'm not a Georgia Bulldog.
So no, he's a Purdue and Notre Dame fan.
Correct. IU basketball.
And you always call me when Alabama loses the football.
That's kind of the thing, yeah. Well, they play tonight, too.
They do. Hopefully they'll win playing BYU. But so, Gary, when we first met, of course, we got to know each other pretty well, got along pretty well. And Gary was a longtime coach at the Pop Warner locally here, Dr. Phillips. And he knew I played football. And, all of a sudden he goes, hey, you want to come coach with me? And I was like, man, that'd be awesome. Because all my daughters were cheerleaders out there, so we had to take them, sit around there anyway. So go and hang out and practice. And so Gary and I coached 3 or 4 years together.
Yeah, I think it's it was 3 or 4. I think at least 3, and it might have been in the 4th year. And we had a good run. I mean,
we had a great run.
We had a good run. I had some good teams before you, but when you joined. We were undefeated, I think, every season we played in the regular season, and then we took it all the way to the Pop Warner Super Bowl.
I had so much fun doing that, man. I had so much fun because we traveled for games like most teams do. Our kids were, how old were they? 8, 9, 10 years old?
They were 10, 11 to 12, I think, in that range somewhere.
And most people don't know this, but we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we went to the Super Bowl. It just happened to be at Disney, so we didn't have far to go.
But teams came from all over the world.
The first team we played in the Final Four, we played Hawaii.
Yep,
a team from Hawaii.
Yep.
I watched that game recently because I was transferring the tapes over, and we beat them pretty soundly.
We did.
They didn't score on us,
so they were nice people. I just laughed because when we're in Orlando, we're the Orlando team, and we're hosting, so to speak. And I laughed because these people from Hawaii, and they literally came up and gave all our players a lei and gifts from Hawaii. It was really nice. I was like, man, we should have been the one, stuff, Mickey stuff or whatever. But that was a good time. I thought we should have at least gone to the championship game.
Yeah,
well, we beat Hawaii, and then
we played a team from California in the next game, and they actually scored 2 touchdowns. I watched this recently. They scored 2 touchdowns before our offense ever got on the field. And then we got going, and then we went ahead of them. Yep. And we scored our 3rd touchdown, and they still only had the 2. And it was neck and neck all the way. They tied it. They scored the go-ahead touchdown on a play where we recovered a fumble, but there was an inadvertent whistle.
Yep.
And I talked to the ref, and I said, really? An inadvertent whistle in this situation? And that was the way it was. So,
well, I just remember they knocked out our quarterback.
They knocked out Shane Larkin, and and I watched the play recently, and it was even worse than I thought it was when it actually happened.
Yep.
He was out of bounds, and their best player just came and drilled him after he was already out of bounds. He got a penalty.
Yeah.
But
hit him into the bench.
Yeah, hit him into the bench, and it was a bad thing. He probably should have been ejected. Instead, they got a 15-yard penalty, but our best player now is on the. He's not there. So
we didn't really have a backup quarterback. We did, but we didn't. I mean, not like this kid. That kid was. Most people don't. I've told some people before, but we had some athletic kids. The whole team was, but we had some popular athletic kids because. You remember?
We had some good kids on the team. We also had King Griffey Jr.'s son on the team, Trey Griffey, and he was one of our better players.
Yep.
And probably the one that turned out to have the best career is Matty Milano.
Yes.
And Matty Milano, I think 2 years ago, signed a $32 million extension for playing for the Buffalo Bills. Yep. So, he's doing pretty good.
I laugh because he was. Gary was the head coach. I was the defensive coordinator, and that kid was my weak side safety. He was a little wormy guy, but he ain't wormy no more.
No.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, he went on to play safety at Boston College, and then was drafted by Buffalo, and he's done super well. He had a couple of years where he's injured, but he's one of the best players. If you watch the games, they talk about him a lot on the telecast. So, he's turned out really well.
Well, Shane Larkin was Barry Larkin's kid. Barry Larkin, he legend? No. Legend.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
He played for the Cincinnati Reds. Is arguably in the top 2 or 3 shortstops of all time.
Yep.
People talk about him. He was tremendous. And Shane went on to play basketball.
Yep.
At
in the NBA
at Miami, and he played at the University of Miami. And I know they made it to Sweet 16. They may have made it Final Four. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then he played in the NBA. Then he went to Europe, and he won like most valuable player in the league in Europe. He had a successful
Is he
European
retired?
career.
Is he quit?
I think so, but I'm not positive at all.
He was a sweetheart, man. He was always nice to me, and his dad too.
Very good kid.
Good people.
Yeah, very good kid, and his dad was very good too.
Yeah.
Both Ken and Barry, even though they're these Hall of Fame athletes, and we're coaching their sons, and you feel the pressure because you want to make sure that you're giving them what they expect from you. So
it's hard, but I thought it was fun that one summer for we went and hung out with Ken.
Yeah, we went
Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, we went to that one time. We went to one of his games. He was playing with the Reds, and they were doing spring training in Sarasota.
Yep.
We went and watched him play during the day, and then we went and stayed on his boat. It's a small boat. It was like it had 9 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms.
The boat was named the Chosen One.
I didn't remember that part.
The Chosen One. But I just remember when we went and we were sitting on the cruise. We're sitting on the yacht, and we're outside. We're out back. Ken comes out. He hits the button to raise the TV up, and ESPN's on there. And it was a preseason spring game, and we're watching that, and it scrolls across the bottom that he was 2 for 3 that day.
Yeah, that's you reminded me of that. I thought he had only batted once, but you reminded me of that. I do remember one of the coolest things was Ken Sr. Showed up.
Yes.
And Ken was part of the Cincinnati Reds, the Big Red Machine, and they won couple World Series, I think.
Yep.
And what was fascinating to me, while you and I are sitting there drinking our beers, I think we were drinking Pacifica at the time.
Yeah.
And listening, he had faced, I think it was a big-time pitcher. I think it's Billy Wagner. I'm not positive.
Yep.
And they were going through pitch by pitch as far as what they was doing. And we're listening to him.
We're just sitting around. We're sitting on these chairs just watching. And he stood up, and his dad was coaching him. And we're sitting there going, this is crazy.
This is pretty cool.
This is crazy.
This is pretty cool. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
And we it's funny, in that yacht, we had our own bedroom with our own
bathrooms. Yeah, private bathroom, private yacht. So it was pretty cool. I don't know if you remember too. That same day was Jose Canseco's book came out, and Melissa was charged up about it because it talked about where he admitted to steroid use and all that kind of stuff, and that came out that same day, and there was a conversation about that as well.
Yeah.
And then the next day we left and we played golf.
Yes. You guys that private club.
Yeah, that private club. Wherever we were staying, we went and played golf.
Gary was a executive for maintenance for golf courses, really all over the world. I think 2 of the most popular ones. You did the Phoenix, which is where that main course is. You're out there.
The Phoenix Open at TPC Skies.
The par 3 is crazy watching that. You were out there, and then you came to Disney, and we're at Disney for 20 years. It was a while.
15 years.
Yeah, which we had a blast. We get out in Disney courses for free.
Yeah, we played golf for free, and then also what was a lot of fun too was the tournaments and how I was able to get you guys tickets, you and Steve and Bob and Bill and Dwight, and you guys would come and hang out on Sunday, the final round.
So much fun.
Drink all day and watch some golf.
Yeah. I
was thinking about this the other day because I remember the first time at the end of the tournament we always had the champions reception, and the first time you guys went, and I told you guys that just be low key. And because I had a bunch of stuff to do, the presentation, I was on the executive committee.
Yes.
And as I'm walking up to the presentation to the party, Dwight comes out and tells me, he said, I know you told us to be low key, but just want to warn you, Jackie's behind the bar.
The bartender needs some help. I was trying to help out.
And you go, lo and behold, you're behind the bar serving drinks.
She was laughing at me, the bartender. She was like, let me go back there and take drinks, whatever. But
it was all fun.
The beauty of those years we did that, because it was at the Disney. They don't have the PGA tournament anymore. But the beauty of it is it's an expensive. We were the top where the winner would come into our room and we'd eat dinner and sit down with the winner and get pictures with him.
Take pictures with him, yeah.
The last guy I remember doing that was Glover.
Lucas Glover.
Super guy.
I was going to look at the pictures. Davis Love. You had pictures,
Davis Love.
I know, with you and Davis Love.
Yep.
But one of the best guys, and most people probably never heard of him, was Stephen Ames. And we'd always, because he was, I think he had recovering alcoholic, so he wasn't drinking. We got to know his caddy, and his caddy was talking about him. His caddy kind of introduced to him.
Yeah.
And he kept referring to us as the
boys.
Yeah, the boys.
I thought he was going to hang out with us for a while.
Yeah, I thought so too. So now we're always together, and Stephen Ames, you see him, he's doing well. We always hold up a drink, say, Stephen Ames. Stephen Ames. Cheers. Yeah, we should have did that earlier.
I know, we should have.
Yeah.
Me and Jackie do that.
He's drinking his fake when I'm not. So, sorry. I should be, but I'm sorry.
I love it. It's I would like to get to the real ones one day.
Yeah.
But so you got me into coaching. I had coached basketball in high, little kids. I coached teenage kids for basketball, and I coached girls in basketball when I coached before. And so you'd asked me to come coach, and I remember there was I think it was the last year I coached. I think it was Dwight's son. He had never played football, and this was one of our last years, and we had a really good team. And he ended up being an athlete. And I just remember he was nervous about football, and I coached him. He was on defense with me. And I just remember he ended up, that was his first year of Pop Warner. He ended up going to high school, played football in high school, and got a scholarship at one of the small universities. And I just remember I saw him after he'd come on. I think we saw him at Bay Hill. We were out at Bay Hill and he came up to me and said, Coach Mitchell, Coach Jackie, they call us by our first names. He said, Coach Jackie, I just want to tell you, man, you really inspired me and got me to play football. I loved it, and you told me some things that stick with me this day. And I was like, wow, really, kid? That would just really move me. And so I thank you. I really had some good times. I appreciate it.
He was a good kid, good story. He wanted to play linebacker for us. He's mostly an offensive line, second string linebacker.
Yeah.
And then, he went on and had a college scholarship playing linebacker. And, he turned out really well.
A good kid.
Yeah, very good kid. Great kid.
So that's why I'm wearing this hat. I'm wearing the Bear Bryant hat because we were super coaches.
Yeah. Well, we tried. We had a good run. We had a lot of fun with the kids. I actually coached for 13 years.
I know you did. You were going to retire. You were going to retire at 10 years, and you kept going.
Well, I did retire at 10 years, and then Junior called and asked if I'd coach his youngest son and switch over to West Orange. So I went out to West Orange and coached his youngest. Yeah. And at the time, they started a whole new program where younger kids could play. And he was 6 years old.
And they were letting him play?
And they let him play.
Full pads.
Full pads. So it was funny because there was no way they could get hurt because you got these little kids with big helmets and shoulder pads. They couldn't hardly walk with their
Yeah.
They were like the kid on the Christmas Story with the because they were padded up so much they couldn't do much.
14 coats on.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was West Orange their league with as opposed to Dr. Phillips? Was it better? I mean,
it wasn't as good as our league at Dr. Phillips. They wanted to be up there, but we had some good representation. Actually, we can give credit to a man named Croy Crowfoot that ran the Dr. Phillips league.
Good man.
He owns the furniture. What's the Palm Casual?
Yes,
his family owned Palm Casual, and he did a great job with the Dr. Phillips League.
Yep.
And we had several. It wasn't just we had Junior, we had Barry Larkin's son, we had Payne Stewart's son played with. In fact,
that's right.
You weren't coaching yet, but I coached Payne Stewart's son also. He was on the same team. Back when my son Robbie played, Payne Stewart's son was on that team as well. And there were some other players whose dads were in the NFL who kids came through the program. So, but the Crowfoots ran the program, and then we had a party at their house at the end of the season, saw highlight tape. It was a lot of fun, but I have to give them credit. They put the Dr. Phillips program on the map. And you were fortunate. You and I were the first teams from Dr. Phillips to beat a team from Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then we were junior Pee-wees at the time, but the Pee-wees also won the second game, but we were first. So we played the first game.
That was we played in Jacksonville, didn't we?
We played in Jacksonville.
I'll never forget that.
And we beat them. It was actually, if you remember, 0-0 regulation. And in overtime, we gave the ball 3 straight times to Trey. He got in.
Yep.
And then we held them back from scoring.
Yep. So I remember that. I remember we was the what was it called, the bowl we did locally. We always played a Popka.
It was, you know what? Yeah, the Kumquat
Bowl.
Kumquat Bowl.
And I remember we were playing a Popka, and it was close up until halftime. We had a turnover, and my defense had to go on, and they had like a minute left. So I went out there. I remember going out to the players, and I got them huddled up, and I said, "All right, guys, we got them right where we want them. Right where we want them. So y'all know what to do, don't you? Don't listen to them. Just kick some butt." And they're like, "Okay, coach, okay." And they didn't score. So in the second half, we ran away with it. We killed them. We killed them
in the second half. Yeah. We beat a Popka every time we played them there for a long period of time.
And who was that coach? The big guy, that big ball-headed guy.
I don't remember his name, but I don't remember his name. But I met him later in life. He was in a similar. I was in the golf business, and he sold drain pipes or something in the golf business. So I met him when I was in South Florida. Yeah, and we talked about it. So, you know in these videos, too, that I've watched of the games and stuff, you always went out and we called timeout, and the defense, you would always go out and talk to them. And I see that on video, and I always wonder, what were you saying to these guys? Because,
I was telling them how cute they were.
Yeah. So, yeah.
No, we go and get them fired up and tell them to, I used to love, because we throw in the signals. I love calling the blitzes and stuff. I remember once we were beating some team bad, and I remember I called the blitz on the wrong downs. It succeeded, but I remember Matty Milano, his dad came up to me. He goes, "What the hell did you call that?" I said, "I was just having some fun, man." Well, what's his name?
Mike Milano.
Mike.
And his son also was our backup quarterback.
Yes,
Michael
Mike
Milano.
Jr.
Yeah. So
that's funny. I remember some of these things and these activities we did, because I remember we played in one game and we had, some of these kids when they're young, they didn't play until we had to put them in for 3 plays by the fourth quarter. Right.
It depends on the number of people you had on the team. It was more than 3 plays. They had to play like 7 or 8 plays before the start of the fourth quarter.
Right.
And you and I talked about that earlier today, how you didn't understand that. And sometimes I'd have to get angry because we had to get them their play. We try to get their plays in early.
Here's a funny story. I'm not going to give you names, but I remember we had a young kid who this was I think our last year. We were tough, man. We were just badass. And there was one of the kids that started a lot. He got cut back and couldn't play a lot. But his mom was our team mom. And she's on the sidelines, and she came over. She's crying in my face while we're playing a game. "You got to put my son in the game," because he had not played much. And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll put him in now." I just felt so bad. But that's the kind of stuff we dealt with. You remember we had this kid come out to play. He had transferred, moved in the city. And the kid was he was a defensive back, so I coached him. And I just remember, but he wasn't as good as Jared Watkins.
Yeah, Jared Watkins, our friend Bob's Watkins' son, he was a really good player too.
Yes, but the kid was good. I knew he was going to play. And his dad was a part-time coach from other teams, and he just chewed you out every time his kid wouldn't play. I mean, he would cuss you up and down. He bodily threatened you one time after the games. I was like going, I go to the parking lot, and he's in his car with his wife and the other 2 kids they had, and the boy that just played, and he pulls up behind me getting ready to leave. And he says a truck, and I go over and talk to him and said, "Dude," he was a big guy too. He's big, tall like you. And I said, "Dude, listen," I said, you've got to be patient. I'm telling you now, your kid is a good athlete, but we have been playing together for 6 or 7 years, and these kids are very good athletes. He's going to play a lot. Quit doing it. I told him, I said, "Quit acting this way, man. I said, your kid," I looked back, his kid in the back seat. I forget his name. I said, "Are you having fun?" He goes, "Yeah, coach, I am." And so, but remember, he ended up pulling this kid out. And then we had the team picture cut. We removed him from the team picture. Remember that?
I don't remember that. I just remember parents would get upset because they thought everybody's parent thought their kid was a quarterback or a running back, and so it was always about the positions they played and the how many plays they played.
Yeah, crazy.
And in Pop Warner, they had the rules are so strict, you don't have any big kids playing.
Right.
And so offensive linemen are kids that people think that they shouldn't be offensive linemen.
Right.
And that's because the real offensive linemen can't make weight. The ones that are playing on the high school teams, the college teams, they can't play Pop Warner because they can't make the weight. But I want to bring up something because you brought up Jared Watkins, and I don't know if you remember this. You used to have a annual block party at your house every year.
Yep.
And I remember the one year Jared Watkins was there, and he knew that I was the head coach of a football team. We knew Bob, and Bob came over and introduced him to me, and he started talking, and he said, what do I need to do? I'd like to play football. What do I need to do? And I started talking about, well, you build up your upper body strength and do some things. But I mentioned upper body strength. That night during the party, he's in your garage lifting weights.
Working. I remember that.
He's lifting weights.
I remember
that night.
I remember that.
So that's how dedicated Jared was. And
I got to tell you something sweet from him. He literally sent me a text thanking me.
Yeah, he's a good kid, good friend. He just got married 2 weeks ago.
He's a sweetheart. He told me that I really affected his life positively. He wanted to thank me for that because he heard about my cancer, and it was just so sweet.
That's the kind of kid he
makes
is.
me emotional. But anyway,
that's the kind of kid
he is. He really is. Good kid. So,
and I don't know if you remember this. The last game he played was a. No, you weren't coaching, but you were watching the stands at junior midget. We lost a pocket, but he broke his wrist in that game.
I remember.
He tackled, he came down, or his arm.
Dislocated.
Yeah,
his whole arm was all stuck off, and the skin was copped. And I just remember standing over because I ran on the field with that. I said, Jared, you're gonna be okay, dude. You're gonna have to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I said, but don't look down.
Don't look at your arm.
Don't look down.
And Bob happened to be doing the yardage markers, so he was right there as well.
That's right.
And it, everybody knew I was a crier. Anyhow, I was a hard coach. I was a hard ass. There's no question. But I was also a huge emotional crier.
Yes, you were.
And him laying there and watching him, I started crying because he meant so much to me as well.
Yeah.
So
he's just a good kid.
He's such a great kid.
He was he went on to. We got to wrap this up soon, but he went on to. He got a scholarship as a.
He played
pole
track
vaulter.
pole vault. He went into
Florida.
pole vaulting and was at University of Florida.
Won a national championship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was impressive.
Yeah, and now he's living in Switzerland. He's rock climbing. He's skiing. He's just got married a couple weeks. He's got a baby. He's living life. So
good kid.
Good, very great kid. So great kid.
Well, dude, thank you, man, for being on my show.
Well, it's been fun.
It has.
I can't believe the time went by pretty quick.
I told you you'd enjoy the talk. You're like, we'll take 5 or 10 minutes. Like, no, man. We start talking stories and remembering these things. It's so much fun. I was telling Jackie last night. I said the podcast we were doing was about music, and I just told Jackie. I said, Jackie, we talked for an hour, and I just really loved it. So anyway, thank you.
I could see talking about music. I can see you. Thank you, brother. We had a good day.
Yeah, we did.
We had a good day. We'll have many more.
Yes.
We'll continue to have many more. So we have more stories to talk about.
Yes,
too. So
many more.
We got a lot of them. So I have a few things about you, and
All right. Well,
and you probably have some about me.
I'm gonna keep them to myself.
We're right there. So I'll keep mine. We're right there. So
safe travels.
Safe travel.
Thanks.
Anyway, thank you. Get
Thanks,
better
guys.
and keep going through.
I will, brother.
Thanks.
You're supposed to talk. Say some things for Grandpa. Come on, say some things. Yes. What's happening? What are you doing? Did you get a bathtub with Grandma? Luka. Yeah? Got a bathtub with Grandma? Who loves you? Good job. That's awesome. So, what do you think about your new preschool? Do you like it? It's a new one, right? Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying your preschool? Yes. You're going to turn the microphone. Oh, boy. Yes. You're working the board. All right. Don't stop it because we're still... Oh, wait. It's not... Oh, it's recording. Hey, Say hi. Say hi, Grandpa. Hi. Hey, hey, hey. That's good. All right. We're going to go. Say bye. Bye-bye. Say bye. 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 High five. Bye. Bye. Give me a high five. High five. High five. High five. Yay. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. You gonna hit the buttons? Oh. You know what's happening? All right. We're gonna go. Bye. Love you.